Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I'm Michael Gracia, and I have a wonderful show planned tonight. Um, I got a guest. He's a recurring guest. He's been on a while back. He was an artist on a book called Dark Form, and now he currently has his own book, and which he is the creator of, I believe, the writer of, and the artist on, and we'll talk to make sure I'm not getting anything wrong right now. Um, but it's a great supernatural. I don't want to call it horror but I think there were a couple of scenes I saw that might fall kind of into the horror, but it's a fun supernatural story. It's called Onslaught, and let's bring on. Let me get the mouse. My computer's a little far today here. We're going to bring on Junior Mejias. How'd I do with the last name?
You did good. You did good.
Okay. I had to write it phonetically. I'm so bad. Well, first off, thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I always fun to chat. I love talking with very talented artists, and you're one of them.
Thank you.
So let me make sure before I forget. I want to confirm what I said. You wrote and illustrated the story, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So for those who aren't aware, haven't seen the first show, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do?
Gotcha. So
yeah.
My name is Junior Mejias. I am the creator and illustrator of Onslaught. And what can I say? I've been working on this project for the last 5 years.
Wow.
So it started out as my graduation project for college, and then I decided to keep it going. And here we are, 3 issues in.
Wow. Well, first of all, I want to say, and I told you this backstage, it was a great story. I was lucky enough for Junior to give me a digital copy to read, so we can talk about it tonight on the show. And I had so much fun reading this. Like I told you, it felt like I was reading an episode of Supernatural, and I was a fan. I was a regular watcher. I still go back sometimes on Netflix and rewatch some of my favorite episodes.
As do I.
You do too?
As do I, yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm sure this, Supernatural was a big inspiration for this book.
100%. So you saying that was the best compliment I could have gotten, because let's backtrack 5 years before I started this book. I went on a CW binge.
Okay.
So, Supernatural, Vampire Diaries, all the CW shows. And at that time, I had a lot to binge because it was already a lot of it was out.
Yeah.
And then I landed on Supernatural, and that really hit for me every note. But because I grew up on anime, it was lacking that people flying through walls, all the power-ups, all the screaming. I needed more CGI that the CW doesn't have,
Yeah. Let me say hi to Jason. How you doing? I don't know. Do you know Jason? Come on. I'm trying to show. There we go. What up? My brother. Hey, Jason. Are you familiar with Jason and what he does?
I am not.
Oh, well, you got to check out his stuff. He is part of Scattered Comics, and every Friday he does a live stream where he draws indie characters. So someone like you could talk to Jason and say, "Hey, can we do a, can you draw my character?" And then he'll has an audience, and the audience gets to draw, and then you get a copy of all the artwork. And if you want to use it, you can use it. I've actually done a few. I've missed the last few weeks due to a hectic schedule, but I love watching his stuff even after if I can't watch it live, I always make sure to watch it later. Really good stuff. So 5 years ago, actually, then we're talking during the pandemic time.
Yeah.
So you were home. We were all home. Nothing to do. You said, let's go on Netflix and just watch all the CW shows.
Basically. Well, actually, I was unfortunate enough, or fortunate maybe, to be what do they call it? When you weren't poor enough to keep working. What was the word?
I don't know.
I don't remember, but yeah, but I was still going to work. Which I worked in an office, so it was outrageous that I was still working. But yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was working in a school system at the time, um, so I got to stay home until they were going back. But yeah, that was interesting. I did a lot of binging myself. I don't know if I really did CW stuff. I do. I tend to rewatch the first like couple of seasons of Arrow.
Yes.
Essential Workers.
There you
Thanks,
go.
David.
That's the word.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, but yeah, Arrow, the first like 2 seasons I rewatched somewhat often back then. I haven't done that in a while.
Well, in a usual CW fashion, the first 3 seasons are great off the gate, and then
Yeah.
it just
Yeah, exactly. But just getting to Supernatural, I don't know if you knew this. I'm sure you did after you became a fan of the series, but it was originally supposed to be on for 5 seasons. That's what it was written for. And then afterwards, they're like, people wouldn't let it go, and it was a very popular show. And I've always said after season 5, that show it has some good episodes, and the rest of the time it's interesting concepts after. But yeah, first 5 seasons were like the best part of that show.
100%.
Yeah, and I also love the characters when they're younger and when they're searching for their father. I like that aspect where, they have to go out and search, look for him, see what's going on and stuff. So, but yeah, like I said, this your comic came, really felt like Supernatural. So, okay, so obviously you were working on. You said this came out of a school project,
right?
Where'd you go to school?
NJCU in Jersey City.
NJC, New Jersey.
Yes.
What? NJ City University or something?
Yeah.
Or
New Jersey City University.
Okay, I don't know. I was trying to figure that out. Okay, so you did this for what, like an art class, or
No, this was like what do they call again these words? To complete my bachelor's, like my final project, or I can't remember what it's called right now. But I needed to do this. Instead of
kind of like a thesis.
Yes. Instead of a thesis, I had to put on an art show.
Okay,
and that was what I did.
All right. And what it just was this again back during the pandemic, or like after you watched Supernatural, or were you a fan before that? It inspired it.
Well, I was already in the process of writing it, and I already knew I wanted a team of. It started as a team of kids fighting supernatural creatures.
Okay.
But it didn't go beyond that. And then once I started watching Supernatural on Netflix, I was like, okay, this is where I want to go with this.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because in the back you talk. I'll be honest. The back of the book I didn't read. I wanted to have something for the show. Excuse me. Where I didn't have knowledge of stuff,
Right.
And everything on the so we got what's it called? Juliet, is that Alicia? She has a BFA show. It was thesis, yeah. So
BFA show. There you go. Yes.
BFA show. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. No. So with God, what the heck was I just saying? I'm sorry. I read the comments.
You wanted to not have some knowledge for the show.
Oh yeah, some not. And in the back of the book, you show some character designs, old stuff, and you talk about how it's changed. I kind of skimmed very slightly just to see, because I'm like, that's actually for me the fun part of creating comics. So I wanted to hear your thoughts without having any preconceived ideas already on that. So I didn't read that section. And so how did the idea come about? I know you said you just changed it when you saw Supernatural. It was supposed to be kids originally, kind of like Scooby-Doo almost, maybe.
Yeah.
But how did this idea form?
Well, like I said, I was working in this office,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a set of coworkers that I was always on the same shifts with, and everybody was just a character. And then we started making jokes about the coworkers that we hated. So in my mind, it was like us fighting these creatures,
Okay.
and everybody had a persona. So pretty much 80%, maybe 90% of the characters in Onslaught are based off of someone I know.
Okay. all from this office
Oh
job,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
And so then, okay, pandemic happens. You start binging stuff, whatever, and all these ideas come because of Supernatural. Now, as someone who's seen the show, I can kind of see the parts that you incorporated. But if you've never, for an audience who may have never seen the show, and I highly recommend you watch at least the first 5 seasons. Um, what was it about Supernatural that made you change your idea and bring in elements kind of from there?
The tone for sure, the grittiness, the darkness. I was there. It definitely felt more horror and darker in the first 5 seasons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. And so let's move away from Supernatural. I'm sure we'll come back to it because to me, like, that's, and I hate to say it that way, but I feel like that's what I'm reading. I'm reading a Supernatural. It's just not Sam and Dean. It's another hunter. It's another story of creatures that another hunter's following. And you have a good sense of humor in there. You have them. I like how you have other types of fantasy creatures that, like, you have a character, and I'll show a few pages. I don't want to go through a lot, but you have a goblin character.
Mhm.
And I love that your hunter interacts with the goblin and obviously has a history, as based on writing and some of the jokes that you tell with them. So oh, hey, let's see. We got Dylan showing up. We got Annibal showing up here. Hello.
Anibal.
Yes. Um. So, all right. So before let's just show some of the artwork. I really want to show this. I love your work here.
Thank you, thank you.
Where is the share? I'm sorry. I switched up my studio space a little bit in where things are, and I am having my computer's a little further away. I should have brought my mouse over. So here we are. This is it's a 90 something page document, if I remember correctly.
So yeah, this is the PDF of the hardcover special edition.
Oh, this is a special. Oh, hardcovers. That's what you sent me then. Okay.
Yes.
So I love these characters here. You can see the goblin on the front cover. This guy is the hunter. This is your big bad for this issue. And there's the goblin. This is the witch. He is he's a bar. He owns the bar, correct? This guy?
Yes.
Okay. And this is a musician that plays at the bar. And as I mentioned, that's the character I'm most intrigued by, and I can't wait to see how his character develops. I have this very strong suspicion there's something really special about this guy, but we haven't seen it yet, you know. So let's go through some pages here, and let me just move over because I'm using one screen right now. I just want to make sure. Jason says, "Whoa, nice art style." Yeah, no,
Thank you.
here is fantastic. And as we go through, and another thing I like about this, and tell me, is it going to be different on the Kickstarter, which I'll drop the link in to the comments in a moment. But it's all black and white with just spot color, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so this isn't just like you didn't send me an unfinished version then.
No. All of them are like this.
Yeah. I mean, I just love your faces here. I love how he's got this scar here. And I love that on the cover, if I go back, you have it colored enough that I could tell, I didn't know unless I look at the cover that he's got this white grayish hair on the side, I I couldn't tell that in the drawing, but now that I look at it, it looks like it does, you know? I just really like that a lot. And this was a great little piece, great discussion. And I believe in the special edition in the back of the book, and I'm not going to show that, but I believe you have older pages kind of like of how you were drawing this story before you made the changes, I guess.
Correct.
And I think you show a couple of these pages in there.
Yeah.
In pencil form, by the way. Yeah, no, this is fantastic.
So all those goodies for the special edition.
Yeah, I'm not going to give anything away there, but I love their designs. We're just going quickly, and then there's the introduction of the goblin, and his name is Garza.
Yes, Garza.
Garza. Okay. Let me just see. Oh, Andrew's on. Hello. What does he say? He says, Andrew says, hello, gentlemen. He also says, what does he say? CW is an amazing. And he also says those shadows inking is what makes those pages pop. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to go through all this, but I love that he screams sneak attack. You know, like that's just great. And this is a nice scene here where he's pulling out his knife. Whoops. I love that part right there. God. Yeah, Andrew's right. Your inking is fantastic here. Let me just see. Let's see. What's going on here? I'm trying to say, dude does not skimp on background. Yeah, very epic. What do we got? Goblin supremacy. And what does he say? Everyone give. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I was clicking on things before I even read them. Yeah, no, this is just. Yeah, let's take a look at these backgrounds. I mean, look at this right there. I love that. Great buildings. And this scene, though, I love the curvature here. Love how you got the mailbox, the newspaper piece. And this is a made-up city.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, is there a reason you went with a made-up city as opposed to just saying, hey, we're in New York or whatever?
Not really. It just felt natural to do that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, this is just beautiful. I don't want to go too far. I don't know how much I could show. It's what I will show. Let me scroll down a bit. I don't know where I'm at. I wish I numbered the pages. Yeah, just right here, you got some vampires hanging out and talking. And I love how they have this kind of, I know it's not a mask, but like this mask-like feature around them. And I love that when the vampires are talking, it's in black, black and white, so that they're vampires, Andrew asks, how many issues for one book? This is a collection of the first 3. And how many pages? I believe this, clicked on the wrong thing. This book right here is 96 pages from beginning to end. And this is with the special edition. But to my knowledge, I think it stopped on page 78 of story. So even with that is 78 pages of story.
Issues 1 and 2 are 18 pages long.
Okay.
issue 3 is somewhere around 36 because that's where all the juicy stuff is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So from basically, it's basically starts on page 5 and goes to page 78 of story, of actual story, and then the rest, and this is for the bonus book, is kind of like the process of making the comic, and how it changed and stuff. It's really, I mean, it's gorgeous. It just is. So, and 96 pages here. The character we got here, character designs are amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, vampire score. Uh, Oops, 96 pages. Wow. Love it. And, because you love it so much, it is now time to swap out, replace screen sharing with, oh, wait a second. I know what cancel that. 1 second. I have it in the wrong tab. I wasn't going to be able to share. And now we can share the Kickstarter. Here we are. Jason says, "Congratulations! It looks like a great book."
Thank you.
And I will say it is. The first 3. It's the collection of the first 3 chapters of this story. It is, like I said, it's fun. If you were a fan of that CW type of humor, the darkness, and at one point in my intro, I remember saying it kind of feels like there were some scenes that might be kind of like horror-esque, but I didn't feel it was something that was scary. Would you say I'm correct in that, or is it supposed to be a little darker than I'm thinking?
No, you're on the right track. There is some, some darkness, some what do they call it? Some gore, but not exactly supposed to be scary.
Yeah. I don't. I wouldn't. What? Well, I don't want to make any claims. What age group would you say this is targeted for?
I would definitely say 18 plus.
18 plus. Okay. Well, there is cursing. There's actually quite a bit, if I remember correct, which isn't a bad thing. You're drawing almost like a real life situation if monsters actually existed and you had to fight them. But let's take a look here at your Kickstarter. You have already surpassed what you needed to get, and I'm gonna just take the link and drop it into. It's coming into the comments, guys. So if you want to follow along, drop a donation in. Can't post to some channels. Let me know what channels this couldn't post to. If I'm going to YouTube and Facebook. If it doesn't go to one of them, let me know and I will post it after the show in that page. So I'm sorry, just taking that off there. So yeah, you asked. I mean, well, you asked for 1,000. You're already at 1,500 with 22 days left to go. How fast did you back this?
I fully funded in 24 hours.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So I can't play videos for some. It's a Mac thing. But I mean, can you get? I didn't ever even ask what the synopsis of the story is. Do you want to give me a little background on it?
So the story follows Jason Colt, our vampire hunter. He is the last remaining slayer of a long line of hunters, and he's on a road of vengeance against the vampire John Vincent, who is responsible for ending his bloodline. And then after trying to go for his vengeance, Jason is going to find out that he can't do it alone. So he's going to have to team up with a very group of unlikely allies. As we've already said, the witch, the goblin, the musician.
Yeah. Another vampire hunter story, but why? So this is talking about what you mentioned, how you grew up on, anime, and you had and obviously Supernatural. Um, but is there anything else you'd like to add to this? So I'm not reading this yet
Yeah.
in here, but if there's anything you want to summarize from here and let the audience know about why we need another vampire hunter story.
I mean, you pretty much summarized it. I always knew watching anime that I wanted to tell my own story. Supernatural just cemented the genre for me. And
Mhm.
like I said, I wanted all the drama of Supernatural with all the action of anime. And that's what this is.
Yeah, there are some really beautiful action poses in the fight scenes. And there was a character, the main vampire is, you said John Vincent is his name. There is a great scene. I won't say what's going on. I don't want, but you draw him kind of flipping and then landing like right in front of the person he's about to attack. And it's just like I saw the whole thing happen in my head as actual movement, like as if it was in a movie or a cartoon or something. So that was that was a great illustration. That one really stood out to me. Like I remember reading that page and stopping and just staring at the drawing um, of how you did that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was. Um, so this is some of the preview, which I've already shown. And is this the flashback sequence here? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what made you have like this, the black, like is that supposed to be like blood coming from their eyes, or is that a mask? What's going on with that part of the design? I really find it interesting that there are quite a few vampires that have that look.
So John Vincent, our main bad, and his two main henchmen, they're the only ones that actually sports this,
Okay.
minus the flashback. And that's because they are super powered by dark magic. So they are different from the rest of the vampires.
Okay.
And essentially, it's burned into their face. This magic causes that area in their eyes to show that way.
Okay. I like that. I like that concept. That is really cool. Let me just, since I'm using one screen, I'm going back. No new comments. So let's check out some of the rewards. So you have the digital tiers, where you can get. That's really nice. You can get all in each issue, $5, or bundle it at 10. And just see here. Okay. So, and then you got, these are soft cover, so they're $10 a piece, or all three for 25. Now this is the hardcover at 40. So this is the behind the scenes. So this is the copy you gave me.
Correct.
And let me tell you, this is totally worth it. $40, man. What I got to see, if I have no issue reading digital comics, but as just an old school comic fan, I love to have the book in my hand. And I really wanted that with this, so I could pull it to my face and look closer at the artwork, because that's something I do. Hold on, just Julie says very cool. What do I got here? Great effects, yeah, beautiful stuff here. Where did I put the tab? There it is. Yeah, and as we go down, Oh, and that's it.
Yeah. Short
Okay.
and sweet.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I like that you got um you you know, you didn't put tons and tons of stuff on. Sometimes no, because I try to back as many as I can when I have the money. Um, but there's so many people who put so many different types of tiers out that you never know what you wanna get. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you guys watch and if you could back this, uh, you know, I know not everyone has the cash to do a lot of different stuff. I usually back digital tiers because I just want to help everyone out, and I can't keep buying comics. But yeah, this is something I think you guys all should be backing. If you guys are that fan of like Junior said, supernatural anime, and you specifically mentioned shonen anime. And there's also, I'm assuming, quite an age difference between us because of the comment you made.
Yeah.
So hold on, guys. I'll show you a picture in a second here. Uh, Annibal says, "Very great work, Junior." Yeah, I'm
Thank
always
you.
impressed by Junior's work. Hold on, let me stop the share so I can show this. So earlier today, before he came on, we were talking backstage, and as I've mentioned to a lot of you guys here, if you've been watching, I have been working on a like 70s inspired manga slash anime looking comic that um, basically is, what if the Swiss Family Robinson lived on Voltron? And I showed him my concept cover, and he said that looks exactly like the animes my father used to watch. So since I don't mind showing it because it's probably not going to be the final concept, but it's just in pencil right now. And where's my camera? So this is kind of what I'm working on. I'm actually going to finally start drawing the pages next week. Were on hold, character designs and whatnot. We're constantly changing, but now I'm happy with my designs. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on. And I'm old, so it's okay. Listen, I'll be 50 in February, so I'm quite okay with that. Uh, but but yeah, so let me ask you, just since we're on the topic of
Yeah.
anime right now, what were the shows or manga, if you read them, that inspired you, that kind of came into influencing you with this type of story?
So I have to say, for anyone who's watching, if you're familiar, Naruto. I credit Naruto for lighting that fire in me to want to be a storyteller. And the fact that that specific anime, I feel like I grew up with the character because I started watching it in elementary, and
Mm.
his whole development ended by the time I was ending college.
Wow, went on that long. I mean, I knew it was a long one, and Naruto was something I only watched less than a handful of episodes of. I've always been the type of person, I prefer to read the manga than watch the anime. Um, but sometimes I'll just go to anime if I don't have time or the money to buy the mangas. And Naruto is just one I everybody tells me how great it is. I just never got into. Um, so like, I was looking at the stuff I just showed you back there. When I was a kid, we didn't even call it anime. It was cartoon. It was a Saturday morning cartoon or something. And I've always said, for me, it was like Battle of the Planets, Star Blazers, Voltron, those type of cartoons. So that's what I'm trying to capture back there. But yeah, now that you say Naruto, I kind of see a little bit of that in your style. I'd have to pull up the comic
Yeah.
again to point pieces out, but I can really see how that show was an influence on you. And it might be one day something I'll have to check out, but it sounds like it's going to take me a while. If it elementary school to college, wow. That's a long time, man.
It's a journey, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But
And
he
I don't know
ages, right? He progresses in ages in the story. Okay.
if he does. And then I don't know if you keep up or not, but it's ongoing with his son now.
That is, and what's that one called? I've
Boruto.
Boruto. Okay, yeah.
Which I don't watch that one. That one never happened for me. The show ends with Naruto. That's it.
Okay, yeah. Listen, it is what it is. I mean, I tell people, it's funny. I wasn't when I was a kid in the late '80s. I vaguely remember watching the original Dragon Ball. Okay, and like when Goku was a kid, and I decided to rewatch it again, and that's how I remembered I watched, because pieces stuck out to me from my childhood. But I never watched Dragon Ball Z, and I just was like, it's not for me. Whatever. I checked it out. I'm like, it was a good story for the most part, but it wasn't. It wasn't like. So I see how if I was young, I would have become obsessed with, like you were with Naruto, and other people my age or a little younger were Dragon Ball fans like that with Dragon Ball Z. And what I loved about the original was the humor. Dragon Ball Z lost the humor, became more of action type of stuff. And then when you watch Dragon Ball Super, the humor came back. And so I actually prefer Super and the original to Z, which I know will probably get me hate mail, and all the likes that Jason asked to be done will now go to dislikes, but it's what it is, I mean, listen, each their own. But yeah, I still go back and watch the old stuff. I really love that stuff. That was all the fun stuff for me there. But yeah,
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you don't even have to go too far. Like even with Naruto, I feel like anime used to have that message of like, don't give up, keep going. Really good, like moral messages.
And that was, it's funny because when you look at kind of how it progressed, wow, there's just a lot there. But the stories were so different. Because of the way the Japanese culture is, and what they show to a younger, what they show to younger audiences. But it really wasn't until Dragon Ball, to my knowledge, the original, where that kind of changed, where everybody was like, I want to get better. I need to power up. I need to get stronger. That was kind of the one. And I'm not saying something didn't come before it. I don't remember often, because I didn't watch everything. I literally watched every cartoon for the most part. Like I could talk to you, about Battle of the Planets the same way I can talk to you about the Smurfs. It's just what it was for me. But yeah, it's the older stuff for me, I felt had much more of a story. Not that the new stuff, but the newer stuff. And when you get it with Naruto, you get it in Dragon Ball Z, you get it in everything. Everything's just dragged out.
Yeah.
And the cartoons are like 3 minutes of staring at a guy's face, just going, that's anime now. Back then we didn't have that. It just kind of flowed a little smoother with the stuff that I grew up on. Andrew says, what does he say? Yep, Dragon Ball OG was an adventure story format that ties with Dr. Slump. Yep, Dr. Slump and Dragon Quest. Yeah, no, that was always fun when they because they did bring like one episode one shots of Toriyama's other characters once in a while in the story. I'm actually rewatching. I don't want to say rewatching, because I don't know if I ever watched it as a kid. But what is it called? It's on Amazon Prime. Oh God, it's the the guy who created Astro Boy. It's a medical kind of. God, why am I blanking on his name? I am loving the show right now. Andrew, you'll know it if you can remind me. I don't want to like go away from the site and look it up, but on Amazon, they're playing it on Amazon, and it's like watching a comedic medical drama with like occasionally some high stake stuff going on, and it's just like this is the end of like episode 2 or 3. I'm show's old, so not really giving away. The doctor character hasn't seen his father in years, and his father says, "My wife is basically dying. I need you to save her, and at the same time make her the most beautiful woman in the world." And she wants to be made the most beautiful woman in the world. And then at the end, she's looking at herself as the most beautiful, and she goes, "I'm so pretty." Blackjack. Yes, Andrew, it's blackjack. And then at the end, the father's like, "Why did you do this? How could you do this?" And he's like, you made her look like your mother. And he's like, "My mother's the most beautiful woman in the world." And and the father admitted that he didn't have love for the mother anymore. So he left it like, he just, it was like, that was like such a great, like, I don't know, just F you to the father who left and just never came back type of thing. And yeah, go if you can check that out. It's hysterical in the sense of just kind of the way they do things. It's almost like you're trying to watch like it should be it's almost like it's like a comedic medical drama, but not like Scrubs was, you know what I mean? It's
insane. You said it's on Prime?
Amazon Prime. It's called Blackjack. Okay. I think all of his work is basically on there that you can see. Excuse me. But yeah, check that out. But yeah, that is, anyway, I don't want to talk about that. Let's get back to that. I was just curious about the anime and that was influencing you. And yeah, now that you mentioned Naruto, I can honestly see that in your style. It's not 100%. I see also American comic artist influences in there. I feel
like sorry.
No, go ahead.
Most people of my generation, we artistically started because of anime.
Yeah.
Me personally, I outgrew the anime eyes. They just don't appeal to me to draw them. Of course, I love to watch it, but I don't like to draw them anymore.
Yeah.
And then I lean more towards Greco Pulo. I love Spawn.
Yep. I was gonna say what?
J. Scott Campbell.
You're naming everybody. I was gonna say, I'm like, you were an Image fan, and like in the '90s, you were collecting Spawn and all that stuff. And Andrew also says it's on Tubi. Amazon's got the classics as well as Tubi. Cool. I didn't know that about Tubi. But yeah, no. Like, that's what I see when I look at your art. It's like a modern version of like 90s Image, that's kind of how I see your work. And I really love that. And let's bring up let's bring the comic back up so we could take a quick look. God, where is everything here? And there is the comic. And so let's move to a page where we can see actual character faces and stuff. Like here with the designs, maybe we can see. I gotta say, I really love this perspective here. I love how the magic's coming off her. Good stuff, man. Are you thinking about coloring this at all, or just leaving it black and white?
At some point down the line, I think I would like to color it for another special edition at that time.
Yeah, because I feel. Go ahead.
But I feel like that would be long from now because, like, after I've completed the entire story.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, no, because I feel this works in black and white a lot now, and I don't know if this is me, just being colorblind, but I would love just some gray tones in there as well. Help certain areas just pop on. But yeah, like like the magic or something. Everything is cool, but then you got this very light gray with the magic being affected. What is it? Natalia, is that Natalia? Is that how you say it? She says that would be phenomenal. I'm assuming she's talking about fully coloring, when you have it all done. But
Gotcha.
yeah, no. But yeah, I mean, look at this stuff. I love this face right here that you did. How long does it take you to do a page?
I want to say about a work day, so like 8 hours.
And that's penciling and inking.
Yeah.
Man, that is gorgeous. So many fun things here. I like it. Um, and I always love, like I said, this panel. I love the curvature that's going on here. It kind of reminds me of, like, I hate to say it this way, because when I looked at it, because I'm not making fun, because I love it, but it reminded me a little bit of a deserted Sesame Street. Like that main
Yeah.
street. Like the main
Yeah.
street. That's how I saw it. I was like, this is great, and I love this.
When I was opting out to do it, when I was to opt out of color, I was thinking
Yeah.
of manga,
Mm-hmm.
and I was also thinking a little bit of Frank Miller, Sin City.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I don't think there's anything wrong with going black and white. Um, you know, just getting, you mentioned manga. One of the things that I've always said with comics is that everyone expects it to be color, but manga, everyone buys manga, and it's always black and white. So why do we always need color comics? And you know, Sesame Street's got that's why Sesame
He's
Street.
got a vampire. Yes, they do.
He might have to make a small appearance hiding somewhere now. That'd be great. Where's the comic here? Yeah, no, this is awesome. I'm having so much fun just looking at this. I want to reread it. I'll be honest with you, because now that I've read it once, I want to go back and see everything I missed. I just love. Yeah, look at that. I love the way you did the ears and how they're kind of, just kind of withering away in a way. I don't want to use, that's the wrong word. Just kind of how they're not
wispy.
like, yeah, they're wispy. They're not strong looking ears. And you get great expressions on these characters too. Like even for a shot like this, you can really tell how, he's like, "Hey, wait up," type of stuff. You do really good expressions. Dude, this is just awesome. And the car, this interior of the car.
You can't be a badass hunter if you don't have a muscle car.
Yeah. I gotta say that was one of the things that even before I really felt the supernatural feel, I'm like, oh, this is where it hits right there. It was the car. I was like, oh, he's got his baby too, But yeah, no, I like how you have the interior. Like, is that a specific type of car? Like, did you have to look it up and research, or?
No, 100%. I always reference the I believe it's the 1970s Dodge Charger.
And that's what the interior looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like this here. How you even have it looking like the seat kind of goes up like wouldn't call that a bucket seat, but almost like it's like a cloth interior, or or maybe a leather, like because it's black. I'm kind of seeing a leather interior now.
Just texture, to me, texture in general is so important.
Oh, absolutely.
Important texture everywhere to show what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to go too far past this. People can be pausing and reading the screen and whatnot. I don't want like later on.
And I'm so happy to hear that you enjoyed the reading experience, because I emailed it to you, and because I never heard back from you, I'm like, I wonder if he liked it.
You know what? No, I can't go into things. I have a lot of strange life going on right now, and I didn't get to read it. I read it in sections, so I didn't finish it officially until this morning maybe, where I had like the last 10 pages or so to go.
Yeah.
But I was always enjoying what I read. And I've been meaning to write you. It's like, I got to finish this. And, I did a couple of cons. I got a show this weekend, so I've been like, my focus has been in other places, and I got a weird, I guess, day job thing going on right now that's something, I can't go into, but it's a little, it's strange. So, my mind hasn't been focused on a lot of stuff until I started redoing, like really focusing on my comics. And like, okay. And that's what's been breaking me and making me, taking a break from all the craziness and allowing me to focus. So I've been trying to refocus, just on my stuff and keep me from going nutty. But yeah, where are we at here? So yeah, let's bring back the Kickstarter. I want to look at that again. Come on, share. And let's get the Kickstarter page back. Come on. Where is it? There it is. All right, guys. No one wrote to me to let me know. I'm just looks like you got some backers since last we talked. I'm hoping that's from my people watching here. Please.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hold on. Oh, so yeah, that's great. You're at 1640 now. 37. Yeah, and you had what, 30, 32, I think?
540, I think I was at.
No, I was saying backer number.
Oh, backer, yeah.
Yeah. But 540. So you went up $100. That's awesome. Congrats on that. Yeah, no, this is just just fantastic. I'm thrilled for. And when does this come out to the audience?
So the campaign ends November 13th. Ordering books, shipping and such. I'm expecting the books to be on their way to the people somewhere early December, maybe.
Okay.
Ish.
Just in time for the holidays. That's awesome. I love this picture right there. Man, I love how you do like just muscles, everything. Like you have a great sense of anatomy here. I love that. Yeah, this is something I listen, you guys. Oh, that's what I was going to ask. I never heard back from anyone in the audience about if the link I sent for Kickstarter posted. So whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, please let me know, and I will take care of it by posting it somewhere else. Just give me 1 second. Annibal had a question, and he asks you, and this is something that I would love to know. Do you have a favorite vampire movie?
Favorite vampire movie? You know what? As a matter of fact, I have to say Sinners, even though it's very recent. I 100% like. I really really enjoyed that one.
You said Sinners?
Yes,
Never saw. I don't watch. I don't. Well, is that a
it's
considered?
it's very recent, very recent.
Is it considered a horror movie or?
I would say so. Yes.
Oh, then that's why I never saw it. Okay. I don't. I don't watch like. It's funny. I'll read horror. I can't. I can't watch it. But if you put something that has a horror feel in front of me, I'll read it. And if it gets too gory, maybe I'll put it down. But if it's done well, I can sit and read those books all day. You know.
It definitely had action, but it leaned more on the horror aspect.
Annibal says that was a good one. Yeah, I don't know that one. I'm trying to think of what was the last vampire movie I actually saw that was like a vampire movie that wasn't like a Dracula or something, you know.
Yeah.
But I do love the original Dracula. I'm a big fan of the old Universal monster movies. Sinners was a lot like Crossroads. Um, Annibal, I'm gonna say this. I don't know Crossroads. So,
Salem's Law is up there too.
now that I saw. Um,
I
what is it?
watched the remake that they did recently, and then I went back and I rewatched the older one. They're both good. They still stands up for me.
Uh, Natalia says that's funny you say that because it felt more. I felt if it was more action than horror.
You think so? Hmm.
And then he says, but I also and Annabelle says, but also a lot like Dust Till Dawn. Now that I saw as well. Um, so I don't know. My wife probably saw it. She loves horror. Uh, but yeah, and now I always ask this to anybody who does stories about monster characters. Are vampires your favorite monster? Ooh, tough question, huh?
Yeah. 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 I mean, I would have to say so. I guess if I'm writing about them, maybe because you put me on the spot, like I'm not thinking clearly. That's all I have on the mind right now are vampires.
Okay, all right. You know, I mean that's cool. I'm a werewolf fan myself, but you know I don't hate vampires. Uh, I just always found werewolves a little more interesting. Um,
Funny you say that because I had a friend who we would have this discussion about vampires and werewolves, and I would never understand why he thought that werewolves were, I guess, scarier, I guess, or something like that. But it basically came down to vampires maybe you might be able to talk your way out of it versus a werewolf is just feral.
I can see that. Okay, that wasn't that wasn't my reasoning, but I can see that. Like, you know, a vampire may let you go, a wolf wouldn't. Yeah, no, mine was always because number one, they were always more fun to draw, but also as a kid, I like I said, I was a big fan of the Universal monster movies, and the Wolfman was, you know, like Dracula had a book, the Invisible Man had a book. Also, the Wolfman didn't have a book; it was a
Right.
made up story, and so because it didn't have a strong, you know, like a book, some kind of actual story behind it, everything was pulled from mythology. So I used to be able to get to explore, in my eyes, a little, you know, a little bit more, and I could play around a little bit as opposed to using a character like Dracula or Frankenstein's monster where there's an actual book
Right.
that says this is the story of this character, you know. So I thought for me it was a little bit more creative, um,
Got
but
it.
I also found them more fun to draw, you know.
Now, what do you think about this? Now that you mentioned the universal Wolfman,
Mm.
when it comes to werewolves, like snout or no snout?
I think it depends on the type of werewolf. You know, the werewolf mythology they're following. I'm not going to go crazy with that. I mean, they all have snouts in a way. But when you look at the Wolfman, you also like I get it. When it was made in the 40s, they probably didn't have good enough prosthetics to, you know, for makeup to do a good snout, you
Yeah.
know. Um, but you know, Teen Wolf kind of had that same Wolfman based kind of face. Um, you know, but then you look at the Wolfman, the remake that they did with Anthony Hopkins, and they had snouts, all those wolves. Um, so I don't mind it. It depends. I think even they had a TV series for a while. It was short lived called The Werewolf. I don't know if you know that one.
I
Uh,
don't think so.
Check it out. It was in the 90s. It was what I think only like 13 episodes, and um, the idea was this guy, he's kind of like trying to figure out how to remove the curse from him, but he would see the symbol in the hand, just like in the idea of the original Wolfman. He would see the symbol of his next victim in his hand, and he would try to, you know, avoid it. And you know, it's fun. Hold on. Let's see. Let's go over here. Natalia says snout.
No, I think I have to agree. I think they just looks better, more aesthetically pleasing to me with the snout.
Yeah. I mean, again, it for me it depends on the mythology that you're following. Um, you know, I think if they're becoming a wolf, then you need to have the snout. If they're, you know, and I don't mean like on all fours, but if they're the mythology is that they're really becoming wolf like, you know, very feral and animalistic, then yeah, you want the snout. But if it's more of a man creature, it doesn't bother me if they don't. Annabelle says, I love the Wolfman remake with, I always screw up his name, Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
Uh, to me, that's the best design. Those were nice designs. They were. And when I actually worked on my first Zorro book that I got to work on, my friend Don Smith, who I illustrated one of his stories, I actually illustrated. I think there were the only two monster stories in there, and his notes to me is when you look at the wolf, when you have to draw the werewolf in one of the stories, I want it. He goes, think of how Anthony Hopkins' wolf looked like in the Wolfman. So that's I basically drew Anthony Hopkins Wolfman, um, and yeah, he gave me some cool notes. That was a fun story to draw. But yeah, that was the thing. I went snout the whole thing on there. Um,
I think best werewolf for me, I'd give it to the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing.
Yeah, and you know what? Those are all based on the Universal monsters. So, and that was just again a remake or redesign. And I think I haven't seen that movie in so long. I remember the movie's like one of those things you're okay watching on a rainy day, but it's not like a pick for me. You know. Um, but yeah, no, I loved all the monster designs in there. Like even if you watch what was that one Monster Squad, that comedy they
Yeah.
did in the 80s, right? That was the 80s. That Wolfman design, they're all universal monsters at that one as well. But they went with the snout on him too. So I think once the makeup got better, people kind of stayed away from it with the original look. So, but yeah, wow. Now, I could ask you who your favorite type of vampire is, but there's really only what you either got the Dracula type or you got the very violent type.
Well, I did opt out from the. There's just some what do they call it, rules, mythologies. Like I didn't like the whole you got to be invited in concept,
Okay.
stuff like that.
I don't know. I always kind of like that part. That's one of the myths I like. Actually, that brings up a good point though. When you're researching for this type of story, where are you going to pull out the the world building from? Like the what type of myths are you pulling from, or movies or whatever, to explain how your vampires and whatever other monsters use? Like you have the goblin. Like where are you pulling from?
Various movies, comic books. I'm looking at Blade. I mean stuff like Lord of the Rings because I'm gonna put a little high fantasy in there as you saw towards the end.
Hmm.
Um, what else? What can I say? Again, supernatural vampires. CW's Vampire Diaries had an interesting take on vampires.
I didn't watch. I watched a little bit of that show. I never finished that. I got into. Was that a good series or?
It was more like if you like love triangles, who are they gonna get with this week?
Okay. Well, that's every CW show.
I guess so. Yeah, I
You
guess
know,
so.
it's I've always said like the CW shows are basically rom-coms with either superheroes or monsters. That's kind of it, and I always compared Supernatural to like Star Trek, like, Dean's Captain Kirk, and which, alien is he hooking up with, that, at the end of that week there, so, uh, but yeah, so, and is there anything, I know you mentioned comics, Blade, Supernatural, is there any like thing from specific, I'm just curious, specific myths you read, or you just were like, oh, I like this aspect from this show and this comic, and I want to
pretty
do.
pretty much. I like they did this interesting thing. Let me take that. I like that one. Let's
Mhm.
leave this out.
Yeah. Okay. Trying to think if I have any real question. I mean, I would love to really sit and talk world building with you, because one of the things for me, as a creator myself, and as someone who loves storytelling, is I love world building. I love creating the worlds, and obviously you're pulling from all these different places for different types of creatures, but at the end of the day, you can't say this is the world of Supernatural or
Yeah.
this is the world of Blade or whatever. It's how are you bringing it together to make it your world? Like what are you doing in your storytelling that really set, even though you feel, like I said, I thought it was a very supernatural-esque type of story, that is making it different, and at the same, what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what are you doing that makes in your world building, that makes your world stand out to other from other storylines and stuff.
Right. Let's see. I mean, I hope this answered the questions, but like when I was creating the book, I really liked the idea of like, Supernatural had the hunter and such, but I wanted it to span across centuries because I really like the concept of like, all right, so Jason, our main vampire hunter, he's the modern day hunter, has an ancestor, a Western ancestor, medieval ancestor, that kind of stuff. And I hope to, uh, what's the word? Show that more as the story progresses.
Okay.
If that makes
No,
any sense.
I get no. It's almost like there's a legacy story of this family, and there's a rich history within that you can explore why they're hunters. You can explore, how their life changed from whatever moment that made them hunters. There's a lot of ways you can go, just basing it off this one family. And I'm not saying giving you ideas or maybe you thought of it, but you could even have it as one of his ancestors is still around as a vampire now. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things you can pull, and you know, hold on, let's see. Annabelle has a question here. Whoops, keep this mouse here. Did you come up with any of your own vampire rules, or just expand on some existing ones?
I don't want to answer that because I feel like it might spoil some things, but I do have
Don't say anything.
something cooking. I do have something cooking.
Okay, all right. I you know, that's when I work, I try to stay as close to mythologies usually as possible. I don't like to switch up, because I you know, I want people to look at my work and be with the when I write those type of stories and be like, I understand what's going on already, or or they know like the myths I'm pulling from, you know.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, I love if you come up with your own. So I mean that's how things change, and we get new rules, and people do things. So I'll be honest, I'm looking forward to the next story. Now, when this next story comes out, which would be book 4,
Correct.
how many pages are you gearing that one towards?
I'm thinking about 25.
25 pages. So you're going to do probably another Kickstarter. You'll have that sometime 2026.
I highly doubt it, but we can be optimistic.
Is that just based on schedule or other work? Because
other work, because besides being an illustrator, I'm a tattoo artist by day.
Yeah.
And if life didn't get in the way, it would come out much quicker. But I get clients, in between clients, I'm drawing.
Yeah, no, I get it 100%. I have a couple of friends who are tattoo artists, and I know how busy they can get, and sometimes how slow they can get. But yeah, no, everybody always has it like an extra project on the side that they're doing with those things. And
I will say though, the script for the next book is pretty much complete.
Okay.
So the stories laid down.
Now, when you create a story like this, do you have this plot out? This is going to take me 10 issues to do, or it's going to take me whatever. I'm just going. You just know where you want it to end, but you're just kind of like, let's see how many books I can get out of this until I need to tell the ending.
Basically.
So the second one, okay.
Yeah. And also, when I'm writing my scripts, I'm an artist first, writer second. So I want to draw cool stuff, and then I'll make the story work with that.
It's almost like the Marvel method, just plot out whatever and then go in and put in the words. Yeah. No, that's kind of cool. That's cool. I have trouble working that way. I like to plan out and say, I can tell this story in 100 pages. And then out of that 100 pages, I'll break it down to 20 pages each. I got 5 books. You know what I mean? Like I'll do something like that. That's how I try to work, because I like to know how long I'm going to put into stuff. But I love that, every artist is different. So Natalia asks, and I guess, are you already working on issue 4? So yes.
Yes, I am.
But how long? So when you write, because you are an artist, you write with pictures and say like, I'm going to start establishing shot, close up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You draw out what you got. And then you're like, okay, let me put in some narration and dialogue here to kind of help me out. Or do you actually write like a script format?
My scripts are very loose compared to my drawings. So basically my script comes down to like if I was thinking about issue 1, my script would be like, Jason interacts with Garza in the city, and this is going to be 3 pages long.
Okay.
That's as loose as my script is, and then I'll figure out drawing later.
Okay. All right. No, that sounds, because I work similar to that. So what I'll do is I'll be like, each page I bullet point what I want to happen, or I do that for the whole book, and then I say, these are page 1. This happens on page 4 to 8. You know what I mean? Like I'll do that. So kind of similar.
I try to plot out like, how many pages do I need to tell this scene?
Yeah. Oh man, that's cool. Yeah, I always get interested really in the behind the scenes process. Now, and I gotta say, I think you say you're a writer second, but I really enjoyed your dialogue.
That's
You
good
know,
to hear. Thank you.
um, one of the things I have an issue with sometimes is writing dialogue because I don't know what it is. It's usually sometimes grammar. I'm like, oh no, people don't talk like that, and then I got to try to break it down into like a slang sometimes or shorten words, and so or how much do I put in a panel? There's a lot I take into consideration. So going into dialogue is always the hard part for me, but I felt your story flowed very nicely. Your jokes worked very well. Not that it was funny,
Yeah.
but you had like the way characters interacted. You had jokes and it showed they had a connection, a history, um, with them. So you have a good sense of how to build the story and how to show the connections and show that there is a history there that you want to learn more about and you really want to explore you
Thank
know
you.
and I'm excited for issue 4. It's going to suck. I have to wait a year or two now, and you're telling me 2027 maybe you know but yeah, no, listen, I really love what you're doing, man. I love your work. I love, I don't know, just everything. It's such a great introduction, and the pages go quickly. It's not like where you're stuck on a page reading a lot and you forget or whatever. Like you're like, oh my god, this is so. You make everything flows perfectly in this. And I know I read this broken up, but that was because of my schedule. I could have literally knocked this book off in less than an hour, and it would have been great. I would have just had so much fun with it. So, it I
So this being my first Kickstarter, my first, like, I guess, project that I'm pushing out into the world, and seeing all those support, seeing everyone come out and back it, it really motivates me to get issue 4 going even faster.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that because I need to know what's happening. Um, but yeah, I think we should wrap up. I'm sure I could ask you so many more
Okay.
questions. I don't want to keep you. I'm sure you maybe have a little tattooing to do tomorrow morning. So
If you're open to it, I would definitely like to come back on the show sometime before the campaign ends.
absolutely, let me look at my schedule, and if I have to do a special show on a separate day, I will do that. Because I am currently finalizing my November shows, and I don't have. I'm actually taking a little vacation, kind of thing. I mean, I'll still be working, but I'm gonna be traveling. Um, the first week of November, so I'm not gonna have a show on November 5th. So that
Gotcha.
kind of shortens my November show, where I'm not doing anything that week with the show. But if I can, I'll bring you on. You said when do you on the 21st?
What happened?
When does this? When does this?
The campaign ends the 13th.
Oh, the 13th. Okay, so that would be. So then that would be the 12th, or yeah, maybe when I come back, we'll do like a Monday before my because I have a guest book for the 12th already. Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I'm just thinking, yeah, we'll do something that way. We'll talk. We'll have more fun and hopefully that your Kickstarter has shot up even higher by people who have rewatched this watch this here. So yeah, guys, let's wrap up. Thank you for coming on, man. It's
Thank you.
always a
Thank you for
pleasure.
having me on.
Now that I know you're not far, that you're in Jersey, we should get together sometime and talk comics
For
in
sure. For
person.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, man, we will be in touch. Keep drawing, finish that script, have everything going on. And for those watching, please, if you haven't had a chance to back it yet, please back it. This ends on you said the 13th?
13th.
The 13th. Okay, so that's a Thursday, second week of November, guys. And the more he can do, the better it'll be, and it'll be a great Thanksgiving for him. Something to be really thankful for here. So let's see, what do we got here? Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you, Michael, for the great questions. Thank you for watching, and as Jason said, please, drop a like on this here. And if you can, please subscribe. I got more stuff. Next week, George Medina is coming on. We're going to talk about his Kickstarter, The Shameless Plug. Man, so many great things coming on. So, Junior, thank you for coming on. Please hang out for a minute. And with that, guys, I will see you next week. I'm not going to, I've always say I'm going to live stream, and I've been busy and can't. This weekend, I definitely can't with being away at a show. So, yeah, guys, we will talk next week. You guys have a great rest of your night, great rest of your day, week, whenever you're watching. I really appreciate it. And, yeah, we will see you next week. And please back Onslaught.